Okay, going to do a little in-depth tutorial here on using Apollo's power-ups, which is basically researching with AI inside of Apollo. So not having to use Clay or go, stitch together different tools or Zapier or whatever. And basically research with AI for the purpose of kind of identifying what accounts are good to go after and segmenting them out, why they might be a good fit or not, or where they're at, even in like the product life cycle for this particular example, and then crafting a personalized email and dropping it into a sequence for accounts and contacts. So this example, it's a client I have. They do like user testing, user feedback. So I've already built like a kind of a tight list here, 403 companies around like connected fitness. So like I'm actually using lookalikes here. So like companies that similar to like Whoop, Fitbit, Zwift, whatever, like wearables, stuff like that. Sometimes though the list might be a lot bigger, like, you might have an idea of like, okay, 2,000 accounts to go after. And obviously there's all the usual filters and buckets on the left that you can use, but what we can use AI to kind of get at some more granular, hard to find information on each of these accounts. And this was the kind of stuff that usually like a sales rep would do or an SDR would do, go to the website, look for very specific signals, data points, things like that, and then use that to figure out if the account's good to reach out to or not and why, and then use that to write a personalized message. So we're going to use AI power ups at scale to kind of fine tune that, take that off the sales team's plate and then automate it inside all inside of Apollo. So I basically kind of strung together three different AI power ups here. So you can start with the list. Like I usually do, like run a custom AI prompt. And my workflow is basically to also, I have Apollo open, but then also like ChatGPT. And I'm using it and I've already like given it context on our messaging, our targets, ICP, account level personas, all that kind of stuff. So now I'm saying, kind of even just going in ChatGPT saying, hey, I want to create, basically go to the company's website and look for these different specific signals. And, and I actually just told ChatGPT like what I'm trying to do, like what's a good signal, what's not. So it comes back with a really good prompt to get started, like visit the account website, use URL. And what we're doing here inside of Apollo, we create this prompt. So I'm using, there's different models you can choose, like Perplexity Sonar is the one that has web access. It will go to the website. I'll show some of these other ones later. But basically, this is my long prompt here. And what it's doing is going to the website, all these different signals that are good, bad, whatever, and it's scoring the account either one, there's no signs that they, in this example, that they have like product or feedback or testing programs. Maybe there's some, or five, they're doing a lot of that. And we're telling it like where to look on the website, what are good signals, what are bad signals, like this one, like if they're talking about beta programs, or if they have a public roadmap, or if they have a changelog that's on their website. Those are all good signals that they're doing a lot of like user feedback. Don't look, and I'll tell it things that don't go look at, I don't know, what people are talking about and other sources like Glassdoor or other things that are irrelevant. So then bucket it 1 through 5. If you're not sure, tell me it's not sure. And then the field name, I'm calling this product signal score, and gave it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or unsure as a pick list. So this creates in Apollo at the the company level or the account level, a custom field that we can then use even to prioritize accounts, segment them out, whatever. So again, basically, so you can save this. My workflow would usually be to like save it, run it on the first 10 rows or so, look at the score or look at what the output is. So like it scored Zwift as an example, a 5, and then it gives a pretty good reason. Like, and this reasoning didn't used to always populate, but now it does better. But so it talks about like this specific beta program around FutureWorks for testing, feedback, whatever. So that's really good. So what I usually do though, and even in GPT, like I had to basically fine tune this a lot. It was giving me bad signals. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Like I would tell it, just continue to iterate with it. Like, hey, this was a bad example. It gave me this, can we fine tune this, make it better, whatever. So just continuing to kind of go back and forth. So we come up with this product signal score. The second stage here is give me the explanation. So I ran another prompt here that, and again, use GPT, but come up with just a kind of give us some information to work with. And then the third field using Claude. So basically, it's going to take that score we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, take the product signal explanation, and then now your task is to write, don't don't use certain phrases, don't use M dashes, use other things. Here's our scoring logic, and then and it may be an example of how we want it to look. So again, a lot of back and forth to get it to look decent, but so if you look at the Zwift example now, so they're scored a 5. It talks specifically about GPT-2. Use as many specifics like this in your research as possible. So then in the email, it references that, collecting user feedback. And then, so now we have a sentence that's personalized based on research that's relevant, and we can drop it into we have different, depending upon how much feedback the company is doing or how far along they are, we might, so, if somebody has a super, they're kind of step 1. So we can use all that. So this is a sequence. So sequence, we have this variable to use. So I'm just going to call it in here. So we have the score, we have the explanation, but that's not what we would want to use because we use this product signal sentence, which is like a cleaned up variable. So now if I go back to the Zwift example, this person, Claire McGowan, who's product management, if I bring her up, so yeah, product manager at Zwift. So now the AI is going to pull that product sentence in here, and it references the FutureWorks platform. So talks about the research we did, where they're at, how we help, and then tries to, we have some different variables there basically to get us conversation or different calls to action or stuff like that. So this is really powerful. It does take a lot of trial and error, and you want to tweak it before you set it free. But once you feel like it is working, another thing we've done here is basically create some workflows or automations. So just to automate all this and have a steady flow coming in. So 2 kind of quick workflows. The first one is we've already done a pretty good job of like building out all these specific account lists. So what I want to do is if we don't know what that product signal score is, so this product signal score is unknown, we want to exclude clients, our do not prospect list, people in our pipeline, some other filters on here. So these companies that we've already kind of identified might be a fit based on other signals. Well, now we want to run that. We're going to research it with that product signal scores prompt and figure out where they're at, how good of a prospect they are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then run that explanation. So get the information of why they're a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have this running in the background. It's going to run every week. It's going to research like 500 companies. These AI power ups do take like credits inside of Apollo. So I don't just want to run it against a million accounts. So that's the company level. And then the second workflow here is so at the person level, basically. So at this point, if we look at the filters, and actually that last prompt put these into a list as well, so we know like, okay, these are companies that we've run the product signal against. But I want to just double check like AI filters. We know what the score is, and we have the explanation, because at that point, we can run that personalized sentence or 2. that we can drop into the email. So again, want to exclude certain stages. So now we've built these personas. So at the company level, we know why they're a fit. Now we're going to reach out to like the right people at these right accounts. Make sure they have verified email addresses. So we're going to grab all these people and then we're going to drop them into that product score personalized sequence that I just showed you and spread out where the emails are coming from. So in this one, probably, also want to minimize like the number of people that it gets dropped into it. But like every week, let's say 300 people are going to get dropped into that sequence and it just kind of runs in the background. And then all these workflows, all these sequences, you can see what's working, what's not. You get a good lead, good response, look into it, look into the contacts, see how they entered even into a sequence, and you can figure out like what's working, what's not, and continue to kind of iterate from there. So hopefully this was helpful. You can set it up for yourself. If you need help, reach out to me. I work with lots of different companies on kind of setting up AI power ups like this and workflows and automations and basically trying to get more out of outbound in general. Thanks.